next show we're going to be talking about is Kino's Journey, The Beautiful World, the animated series.
Now, I had to do a double take when I saw this, because at first I was like, I recognize that name. I don't know where I recognize that name, but I recognize that name. And then I started reading the synopsis for it, and it took me a minute, but it finally clicked. So, synopsis for this is, the story follows the travels of Kino, a young adventurer who rides a talking motorcycle named Hermes. They explore the people and cultures of different places throughout their adventures, and spending only 3 days at each location. And it wasn't until I got to that part that I realized, I remember this. Now, I thought this was like a continuation, but when I looked into it, it seems like they're, in essence, rebooting the series, essentially doing a redo as far as that goes. Mm-hmm. But what I remember, and I didn't even watch the whole thing of it. A friend of mine actually had the whole thing, and I watched a couple episodes whenever I was around. And this show, it is definitely, I don't know, it seems kind of like a slice of life, because really all you're doing is following around this girl and her journey and whatnot. Because I don't think there was ever, at least as far as I remember, like a specific goal in mind. It was literally that all she was doing was just riding around, and she'd help people with whatever problems they might have, but she only ever stays in any one place for 3 days, and then she moves on. And it's just, I think it's interesting, because, I mean, their only companion that she has is the motorcycle that she talks to and talks to her. And,
it's a girl?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And, I know. It's kind of ambiguous when you look at, especially the picture. But, yeah. At least the original. I don't know if they changed that or whatnot, but I know in the original it was a girl. So I don't think they would change that for any reason, at least that I could think of. Anyways, but it really seemed, you never knew what was going to happen, because it was always someplace different. And the world that they are in, though close in proximity to our world, is also slightly different as well. But like literally, I remember seeing travels going all over the place. And she's a survivalist. I mean, she would catch her own food. I think I remember seeing one episode where they were going through a winter area. They were in the forest, snow all around, and she actually was like, you see her trapping rabbits and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's a matter of going to a town and finding out what's going on and just seeing what the different culture brings there. And other times it's just the in between areas that she's been and where area she's going to. So yeah, okay. Again, this is very much, I know they have it classified as an adventure / drama / fantasy, but to me, I don't know if it says, I guess it is kind of those things in that line, because like I said, the fantasy, I could see that simply because it's a talking motorcycle, but then also because like the world is like, it is our world but is slightly different, so there was some kind of fantasy elements involved in it as well, but I'd almost kind of consider this a slice of life too.
Okay.
So
before we started streaming, you had mentioned the show that it was a sequel or maybe a reboot, and I had just checked it out, and it was a 13 episode series back in 2003.
Yeah,
so
that's what I said. I remembered the actual, when I heard Kino, and I was like, Kino, Beautiful. That sounds very familiar. Yeah. And then I looked into it, and I was like, oh, that one. I never watched the full 13 episodes of the original series, but I did watch some, and it was very entertaining when I did watch. So
this is because like I'm interested in this, so I kind of want. I'm definitely gonna watch the first episode, like everything I do, and then depending on how it goes, I don't know if I want to go back and like watch the old one and then watch the new one, like I did with Yozakura Quartet, because with that show, the animation quality was like ramped up so high that even though the older one still kind of held up, and I like the older the characters in the older one better compared to like the not cliches, what is it, tropes, or not trope, what is it, the style of characters that they had in the newer one, they kind of aged down to, I guess, fit a certain demographic, and I didn't like that. So with this show, I kind of want to treat it the same. I want to watch one episode of the new one, and I'm like, oh, if this is really cool, I want to go ahead and watch the original and then come back to this. So it's like I have a few shows that I've done that for. It's like, it's Full Metal Alchemist. I definitely want to watch the first one before I watch the second one. Yozakura Quartet, same thing. And then for this one, I want to treat it the same way, because I don't want to kind of obsolete the older show because the newer one is either so much better or looks so much better. So I'm definitely going to taste test this one, and then I'll hold off and add it to my pile of like 900 anime I need to watch. But yeah, I know another person that used to do a podcast, and like she was really interested in Kino's journey. It was like one of her favorite shows. So
I see that. It's a very interesting show. Like I said, you never really know from episode to episode what she's going to come across. Mm-hmm. And the world is though similar to ours, which gives you kind of a familiarity with it. Mm-hmm. It is also different enough that you don't know what to expect.
Okay.
So
there's another show that's kind of like that, Mushishi. Have you watched that one? Where it's kind of like a wandering guy and he kind of just goes to different places through each episode. But yeah,
you know how I am with titles. I would have to like. I don't always get them right off the top unless you say something like Hellsing Ultimate. I'm like, oh yeah. I know what you're talking about.
So yeah, I don't have like a wandering character type of anime in my like list of favorite shows. So I don't know if that's whether I've tried them and don't like them, or if I just never found like a really good one. So out of the two, like I only have two that are in my head, and I haven't seen either of them. So I'm curious to try this one out and see if I might get into that genre.
I think you'll like it.
Okay.
Yes!
Is it actually going to air this season?
I know, right? I mean, about damn time, honestly. Good lord.
I think we talking about this like
going.
Yeah, that's so cool. And then all of a sudden, just one character shows up, and his or her demeanor is like completely different than everybody else. Then all of a sudden, it's like gunfire.